Brought to you by the Las Cruces Sun-News. This is Straight Shooter.
What is going on, everybody? This is Justin Martinez, aka Jay the Sports Dude. And if you are listening right now, let me just say thank you for tuning in to Straight Shooter, the podcast where I shoot from the hip and give you everything that you need to know about the New Mexico State men's basketball team. Now, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but this is the 4th episode of our season-long journey. So if you're a returning listener, then welcome back. I missed you. And if you're new to the program, well, then welcome to the family. Where have you been all my life? Guys, we have a great episode in store for us tonight. So I'm coming to you all from a place that I like to call the saloon. So Barkeep, what do we have on tap for today?
On tap today is a recap of the New Mexico game, an interview with Ivan Aguirrecoechea, and a preview of the Cayman Islands Classic.
Alrighty, thank you, Barkeep. I have my lasso in hand, and it's time for our post-game roundup, the segment where I round up my thoughts on the most recent New Mexico State game. Now, the Aggies fell 1 point short of a win against their rivals, the New Mexico Lobos, on Thursday at the Pan American Center by a score of 78-77 in the latest installment of the Battle of I-25. And even though it is a tough pill to swallow for New Mexico State, I do feel like the team played some of its best basketball this season. So I've rounded up 3 takeaways from the contest. My first one is that Terrell Brown looked healthier, guys. As I'm sure you know by now, the senior guard has been dealing with a strained groin all season, and it has affected his game. Now, when I talked to Terrell after the Arizona game on Sunday, he said that he was at about 75 to 80% in terms of health. Add in another 72 hours of rest leading up to this New Mexico game, and you could see that it did help him out. Now, I want to put this out right now. He did not have a good game in terms of shooting. He went 1 for 8 from deep, which just is not going to cut it, especially for a player that Jan says is the best shooter on the team. However, guys, in terms of his mobility, I think that he improved significantly, okay? He played over 30 minutes for only the second time this season. He recorded the team-high 5 assists, and he only turned the ball over once after entering the game, averaging 4 turnovers per contest. Again, he did not shoot well, but you can't blame that on the groin. Shots just were not falling, and it be like that sometimes. But the most important thing is that he has his free range of motion back, okay? He was able to create separation from his defenders, which I don't think he was able to do much of leading up to this game. A really good example was in the second half, about midway through it. There's 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and they just kick it out to Terrell at the 3-point line and say, hey, can you make a play for us? And he says, I got you, guys. So he puts a little move on his defender with a quick shimmy, gets to the baseline, and hits a high arcing shot over the outstretched hands of a taller defender, and he sinks it as the shot clock expires. That's just a really good example of something that I don't think he could have done a couple games ago, because he was not able to get that separation due to that groin, which really hurt his mobility. So again, the shots will fall eventually, but Thursday's game overall was a step in the right direction for Terrell. My second takeaway is that Johnny McCants needs to be on that court more, okay? The redshirt junior only played 11 minutes against the Lobos because he got into foul trouble and he actually fouled out. But when he was on the court, McCants actually had a plus-minus of 7 points. Now, for reference, Yvonne had the second highest plus-minus on the team with only 2 points. So McCants really was a spark plug off the bench, and the best example was with about 3 minutes left. Let me set the scene for you guys. Tied at 77. They give the ball down low to Yvonne, and they say, hey, can you give us a shot? He says, I'll try it. I got the hook shot. It does not fall. Oh no, New Mexico's going to get the board. But nah, think again. So Johnny McCants, keep in mind this guy is 6'7", dealing with some skyscrapers like New Mexico's Carlton Bragg Jr., who is 6'10", and McCants says, I got more ups though. So he goes and gets the put back dunk, says watch out below, and nearly brings down the rim and the house. Then on the very next play, he gets a steal, shows off some active hands, and gets the Aggies out on a fast break. Now, especially with the shorter rotation due to injuries, McCants needs to watch his fouls and stay on that court to give New Mexico State a much needed boost off of the bench. Now, my final takeaways, speaking of Yvonne, is we can stop talking about his ankle, okay? Now, he has been banged up since the summer. It started with a concussion in the offseason, actually, and then he also dealt with that sprained ankle for the first few games of this season. But Yvonne posted 12 points and 6 rebounds against the Lobos. He wanted that ball in the paint. He battled with guys 2 to 3 inches taller than him, as I mentioned, with New Mexico's Carlton Bragg Jr., and he looked to be in great shape after playing 35 minutes. Now, for reference, his season high in minutes leading up to this game was only 22 minutes. So quick maths, that's 13 minutes more, guys. Okay, so that's a good sign, and I think that we can officially take him off of the injury watch. But don't just take it from me. I actually got to talk to Ivan about where he feels his game is at right now and where he feels the team is at right now as well, as they're sitting at 2-3 on the season. So let's get into segment number 2, that interview with Ivan. Barkeep, change the channel real quick.
You got it, boss.
All right, well, starting off, I know you've been dealing with is it an ankle sprain that you've had pretty much since the summer? It doesn't seem like it's affected you as of late. You put up, I think it was 19 against Southern, 12-6 against the Lobos. Is it safe to say that you're kind of over that at that point? Like, is it bothering you anymore, or do you think you're at full strength?
It's one time that is that time in the game that you don't stop thinking about it, that doesn't hurt anymore. It's not like in practice that you are constantly thinking about your ankle that hurts. In game, it's like turn it off and keep playing.
Yeah. Was it like that from the very first game, or was it kind of bothering you early on?
Kind of first and second game was kind of hard, but after UTEP, I can say that I'll be getting better.
Definitely. Cool. And obviously there's been a lot of other injuries on the team, so I guess it's pretty hard to get a rhythm going on early. But as you guys are 2-3 right now, just what are some things you guys think you can do better right now?
Actually right now, everyone have to give more than what he usually gives to a team. It's not one thing that is like we miss one or two guys, we have to keep doing the same thing. No, like everyone have to give, like have to bring the energy that guy cannot bring, have to bring the rebounds that guy cannot bring. It's like extra efforts for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Are you seeing that kind of sense of urgency now a little bit from the team?
Every game, every day, you can tell, you can feel that it's that guy that you miss, but it's no excuse for how we play. But yeah, I can say that the guys that in injury right now are important guys that we need.
Yeah, definitely. I'd imagine that if it's a team full of like freshmen, that it'd be a little easier for them to get flustered if they go on a bit of a stretch. But how helpful is it to have all of these seniors? I guess you guys aren't too fazed by it, right?
Right now, actually almost all the team is over the junior year. Everybody play minutes in the one, so they know what is this thing going on. So, and we know each other. Like most, that the 80% of the team know each other from the last year. So it's a big thing that our team has, that we are already friends and we know how we play each other and that we can find the things that we miss in the team for fixing.
Yeah, definitely. Now you guys are getting ready to go out to the Cayman Islands. I wish I could go out there with you guys. But just what's it going to take in order to get on a bit of a run there?
Right now, everyone is, after yesterday, that was a tough loss. But I can, from the good view, I can say that you can see that our team is getting back to what was last year. It's what we saw in the beginning of the game last night. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I know that everybody right now in that tournament think that, not that we are going to be easy, but everybody want to beat us. So I'm really excited to see how they react when we get there and we saw that, hey, we get back. We just come back from last year.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, I think it's like, 3 games in 3 days or something like that in this tournament over there. Really similar to like the NCAA tournament. Just how helpful is it to get that sort of experience early on in the season?
It's a championship. It's a tournament that we want to win. And if 3 games, how you say 3 games in 3 days, it's gonna be hard. We're not gonna have rest, but we don't need it. We want to get those wins, and it's all what we want in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm assuming you guys already started to look at the film for Colorado State, but just what are you expecting out of them?
It's going to be a better team that we found last year over there in Colorado. It's a team that won us, like they want to win us. So they're going to be tough. They're going to play hard. But we're getting ready from today, and I think that we are going to be ready in 2 days.
Definitely.
For beat them.
Yeah. Well, I have one last question. Not really a question, but I want to run a couple of nickname ideas for you. So you tell me what you think about them. So starting off with easy one, the Spanish sensation. How are you feeling about that one? Yes or no? A little simple?
Little simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Maybe
right.
too much.
Okay.
Spanish sensation.
Okay. Let's see. I know you're from Madrid, right? Okay. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but the mustache madrileño.
The madrileño.
Yeah. The mustache madrileño.
I like that one.
Okay, getting better.
I'm getting better.
Okay,
Getting
the
better.
last one, I know that a big place over there is Puerta del Sol, right?
Puerta del Sol,
Okay,
yeah.
so what about Puerta del Sol?
It's
'Cause I
full.
know you like to flex a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
how you
yeah,
feel
yeah.
about getting better?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, well, we'll keep on working on it, but yeah, that's all that I have for you, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So that was Ivan Arcoechea talking about where he's at right now health-wise, and also where he feels the team is at right now as they've been going through a bit of a rough stretch of games. Shout out to him for taking the time to talk to me, and also shout out to him for bearing with me on a couple of pretty bad nicknames that I came up with maybe like 2 minutes before the interview, full disclosure. But personally, guys, I kind of like Puerta del Sol. Let me know what you think. I want to know what your guys' favorite is. But I need to get back on track, and the Aggies are also hoping to get back on track as they get set for the Cayman Islands Classic. Now, I know that this is a saloon, but barkeep, get me a mojito because it's time to get tropical up in here. Yes, sir, that is right. I'm hitting them with the salsa right now. I got the footwork going on, and honestly, I'm pretty glad that it's a podcast because you guys can't see just how badly I am dancing right now. But let me get back on track. New Mexico State begins its Cayman Islands Classic run this Monday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time with a game against Colorado State, who is actually 3-2 on the season so far. And I'm here to give you all a preview of the matchup in segment number 3. Now, let's start off by talking about the players on this Rams team that you need to know about. And the first one is Nico Carvacho. Now, this is a 6'11" senior center that is an absolute handful down low. He's averaging 14.8 points per game and 10.2 rebounds per game, which are both team highs. Now, the Aggies actually beat the Rams last season by a convincing score of 88-68, and they held Nico to 10 points and 9 boards. But that was with big man Eli Chua in the mix for the Aggies, and he has since graduated. So that gives us what I like to call our duel of the day. Now, the duel of the day, quite simply, is the top one-on-one matchup that you need to keep an eye out for. And for this game, it's the duel between Ivan Arcoechea and Nico Carvacho. Now, as I mentioned, Ivan is looking like he's at full strength lately, and we'll see how he handles himself against this imposing big man. Now, he really has had a lot of practice so far this season because Ivan has had to go up against the likes of Carlton Bragg Jr. out of UNM, Zeke Nahi out of Arizona. Just a lot of board machines, and Ivan has not backed down, and he will have to do that again on Monday, guys. Now, the second guy to watch out for on this Colorado State team is freshman guard Isaiah Stevens. Now, the Rams had a really good guard by the name of J.D. Page who graduated this past summer, but Stevens really has picked up the slack in his absence this time around. He's already averaging 12.8 points and a team-high 3.6 assists per contest. He's a really shifty guard, good speed to him, but what impresses me the most is his shot selection, guys. Now, freshmen normally don't come in with the amount of patience that this guy has, but he plays within the system. He knocks down whatever good looks the defense gives him, and that's why he's shooting 51.3% from the field so far this season. We'll see if Terrell Brown can contain him because he is just a really efficient, smart player, guys. And the final guy that you need to watch out for is sophomore power forward Adam Thistlewood. Now, this dude is 6'6", 200 pounds, and you know my motto, if you can spray, you can play, and this guy can spray it from deep. He's averaging 4.4 attempts from behind the arc so far per game, and he's shooting 45.5% in that department. So this is actually going to be a really good matchup for CJ Bobbitt, who usually is the one giving up inches in his matchups, but in this case, Bobbitt is actually 1 inch taller, 20 pounds heavier, and equally willing to step out to that three-point line. So it'll be cool to see both of those guys going at it from deep. Now, my ultimate key to success in this game, guys, honestly, it's the same that it's been in the game against New Mexico. Just take advantage of opportunities from deep. And the reason why it hasn't changed is because A, New Mexico State has yet to really do it this season, and B, Colorado State gives up a lot of good looks. Now, the Rams are allowing opponents to shoot 35.5% from behind the arc, which ranks 254th in the country, according to KenPom.com. And in case you don't know, guys, that's not very good. So last season, New Mexico State went 13 for 34, which is roughly about 38% from deep against the Rams in that 20-point win. That's part of the reason why they blew them out so badly. Now, this has to happen again, but still, guys, they have to have good shot quality as well. I like the aggressiveness that they showed against the Lobos, but they still threw up some pretty bad shots in the process. We'll see what happens, but now it is time for my prediction. So can I get a drum roll, please? So in this one, guys, I'm going to go with New Mexico State. That is right. Celebrate and go crazy. I do think it is going to be a hard-fought battle, but give me the Aggies by a score of 75-68. Even with the injuries that the Aggies have, I don't think that's enough to result in what would have to be over a 20-point turnaround from last season's matchup against the Rams. Like I said, I think the New Mexico State played some of its best basketball against the Lobos, and if that continues, that should be enough to get the win over Colorado State on Monday. But that is going to do it for episode 4 of Straight Shooter. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm actually going to be doing preview articles for all of the Aggies games in the Cayman Islands Classic, obviously as the bracket takes shape, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. And also, if you want even more coverage on the team, follow me on Twitter at JTheSportsDude. And also, while you're there, just while you're in the neighborhood, leave some feedback as well. I love to hear what you guys think of each episode because I love putting them together for you all. This has been Justin Martinez, aka JTheSportsDude, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. I'm out.